Today we're doing Module 1, Lesson 16, Fluency. Your materials that you'll need today are your online whiteboard or your whiteboard dry erase marker and dry eraser. First up, we're going to do an application problem. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, and then you're going to want to pause the video to solve it. Miss Williams draws the array below to show the class seating chart. She sees the students in 4 rows of 7 when she teaches at board 1. Use the commutative property to show how Miss Williams sees the class when she teaches at board 2. Okay, and here is that picture. So when she's teaching from board 1, she looks at the class and sees 4 rows of 7. Now it's asking you to use the commutative property to show how Miss Williams sees the class when she teaches at board 2, which is the board over here. I left the directions up here for the RDW process. Read the problem, draw and label, write an equation, and write a word sentence answer. Go ahead and pause the video until you've solved the equation. Okay, so let's take a look at how your answer compares with mine. Here's that same picture, okay, and we're supposed to use the commutative property to show how Miss Williams sees the class when she teaches at board 2. Well, we know the commutative property of multiplication says you can take the 2 numbers and you can switch them and the answer stays the same. So let's go ahead first and come up with an equation for how she sees the board right now. So she sees 4 rows of 7, okay? 4 rows of 7, or 4 groups of 7. Let's go ahead and solve that, okay? So we know that this first row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to keep counting, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So we know 4 times 7 equals 28. So there's 28 students in the class. Now let's use the commutative property to flip that, okay? So that means that we're going to change this 4 times 7 to 7 times 4, and it should still equal 28. Okay, so her view from board 2, if she's looking this way, is going to be 7 rows of 4. So let's go ahead and redraw that. All right, this is the board. This is board 2. I'm going to label that B2. Okay, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. 2, 3, 4 of 4. So let me go ahead and fill that array in. Okay, so there's our 7 rows of 4. This is her view from board 1. Okay, board 2, I'm sorry. This would be where board 1 was. Okay, so we kind of took the classroom and we turned it. So now we have 7 rows of 4, and we need to check and see if it equals the same amount of students. So let's go ahead and count by 4s. This is what we were practicing yesterday. So we know this first row is 4. And then remember, you can, if you don't remember your skip count by 4, you can be thinking it in your head. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and write the number. And keep thinking, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So 7 rows of 4 equals 28. So we use the commutative property okay, to show how she sees the board when she teaches from board 2. And no matter which way she teaches from, she still has those 28 students. Okay? So we read the problem, we drew it, we wrote an equation, and now we need to write the answer. Okay, she sees 28 students while she teaches. All right, let's continue. All right, so now we're going to multiply by 4. So we're doing 7 times 4. So I have some lines here. I would like you to skip count by 4s 7 times, okay? And go ahead and write it down on your whiteboard because we're going to use it again. Pause the video until you have your skip count ready. Okay, so you should have wrote 4, 8, 12, 16. And remember, if you get stuck, just hold up 4 fingers and count. So we're at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24. 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay, eventually the goal is to memorize these skip counts because we practice them so much, but if you get stuck, you can always go back and count one at a time. Okay, so 7 fours is 28, right? 7 fours, 7 times 4, 7 groups of 4 is 28. Now it says let's skip count up by 4s starting at 5 fours or 20. So we're going to start right here and we're going to skip count up. So what that's doing, okay, is that's kind of helping us take a fact that we know really well. So we know 4 times 5 is 20, all right, because we can count by 5s pretty easily. 5, 10, 15, 20, okay? So we're going to start there. If we start at 5 fours and we need to get to 7 fours, how many times do we need to count up from 5 to get to 7? Well, 5, 6, 7. We have to count up 2 times. All right, so we're going to start at 20 and count up 2 times. Ready? 20, 24, 28. So we counted up 2 times by 4s. Okay, so another way is to skip down. So this one has 10 fours, okay? 10 groups of 4, 10 times 4 is 40. So that's this number here. Now, if we have 10 fours and we need to get down to 7, how many fingers did I have to put down to get to 7? 1, 2, 3. Which means we need to count backwards 1, 2, 3 times, okay? So we're going to start at 40 and we're going to count backwards 3 times to get the answer to 7 times 4. Ready? 40, 36, 32, 28. 7 times 4 equals 28. Now, it seems kind of silly counting up and counting back, but really what we're doing is we're trying to find a problem that we know easily and get to another answer without having to count all the way up 7 times, okay? So we're practicing that fluency. Okay, now we're to our group counting. So remember, we're going to count all the way up and all the way down. When I point up, you're going to start with 2. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, back down, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Great job. Okay, so that one obviously is a little bit faster. Let's go ahead and skip count now by 3. So this one's going to be a little bit slower. So what you're going to be thinking in your head is, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you're thinking the other numbers in your head, but you're only saying every third number. Okay, here we go. Ready? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, back down, 27, 24, 21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3, 0. Awesome. Okay. All right, let's go ahead now and practice with the tape diagram. This should be a review. On your whiteboard, I would like you to write the addition sentence that this tape diagram is showing. Okay? So you're going to fill in the blanks. Blank plus blank equals blank. Pause the video until you have that written. Okay, so what you should have done is counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 stars in the first group. We know the size stays the same in a tape diagram. So the next group also has 8. So we have 8 plus 8. Okay? You probably know your doubles really well. So you probably know that 8 plus 8 equals 16. But if you forgot your doubles, you could always skip count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay? Next is the multiplication sentence, starting with the number of groups. So blank groups of blank equals blank. Go ahead and pause the video until you fill that in. Okay, so you should have come up with 1, 2 groups, right? Because there's 2 pieces of this tape diagram. If we label it 2 groups, the size of each group we already said was 8 because we counted it. So there's 2 groups of 8, and we skip counted earlier to get 16 total. So 2 groups of 8 equals 16. So that's our repeated addition sentence. That's our multiplication sentence. And this is our labeled tape diagram. Okay, so that is the end of our PowerPoint. What you're going to be doing now is you're going to go into your Google Classroom for today. There's a link for IXL. Remember, your goal is to get to 100, but you want to at least get to 80. And if you, by at least getting to 80, you're showing me that you understand the material. Okay? Make sure that once you finish and get above 80, you go back to the Google Classroom and click Mark as Done.